Alright, so we're back for Extracellular Matrix Part 2 of the day. Very exciting. So, like I said before, Extracellular Matrix is being used in regenerative medicine. I'm hoping it'll be further advanced by the time I'm practicing as a veterinarian 10 years from now. Well, not that quite that long, but still. So, this was an experiment they used to determine it was stem cells. They used, this was Dr. Badalek, by the way. He had mice and he removed all the bone marrow from the mice by x-raying them. I don't know how that removes the bone marrow.
Yeah, too much.
Or the stem cells, I mean.
Too many radiographs kills all the bone marrow.
Fun fact. So he did that, and then he injected the mice with stem cells that had been labeled with fluorescent protein, and I wrote GFP because that's the only fluorescent protein I know. I don't know if they actually know that, or if they use that, sorry. And what he saw was when the bone and muscle was regrowing, those tagged stem cells had turned into tissue. So he knew that that stem cell was differentiating into the needed tissue. And currently, Extracellular Matrix is being used to regrow fingers, like that picture we showed you a little bit earlier. And something I learned last night was it actually regrows your fingerprint. I thought that was really fascinating because everyone has their own fingerprints. But
So, the criminals don't like that because they like to scrape off their fingernails, their prints, and then it comes back. Okay.
There have been quite a few studies with Extracellular Matrix healing diabetic ulcers, and in case you didn't know what that is that lovely thing right there. And it's also being used to help cure or fix bones, heal them, and also surgical wounds. It helps them heal, and you'll see that in a video that I'll show you later. And by that, I mean right now. Wonderful. This is not my video. Should I click yes? Yes. No. Who knows how to work?
And if it doesn't work, at least it's cited there, you know. So if somebody wanted to see it, maybe, I'm not sure if I can help you on the computer there, kiddo, so.
Is anyone smarter than you with technology?
Can you just copy it and go to the internet?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That is a good idea. I broke it.
You just broke it.
Yeah, I'm talented. Okay, well, while we're waiting, I'll just carry on with my presentation. That's fine by me. So, the next slide that you can't really see, but it's right here.
Okay, so let's see if we might, there we go. Okay, good.
What? Sweet.
Yeah, go back to that.
Sorry.
They say that time heals all.
This is it. Good.
And in
Good. Wonderful. Okay, well, while this is...
And in many cases, this is an inadequate replacement for the lost or
Now you can move the, there you go,
and
backwards.
in many cases, this is a lost or damaged tissue.
We'll probably have to let it roll.
Okay.
Just go with it.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just gonna... No. Can we... I've got it. Okay, we're gonna let this load. I'm gonna continue with my presentation just so it can stop buffering and being really fun and exciting. So, this is a diagram, very complicated diagram of how they believe extracellular matrix works, everything it communicates with, and something I forgot to mention earlier was that when you are using extracellular matrix for healing purposes or regenerative medicine, it doesn't elicit an immune response in most people, which is really important, and that has something to do with interleukins, which is listed somewhere on here, right here, which is really important. So they're still working on trying to figure out exactly how it works. So you can tell it's pretty complicated. So this is kind of a timeline layout for different cases that I've found. For the fingertip one that I've talked quite a bit about, this is a different one. I broke the laser pointer. Just kidding, I didn't. I'm having trouble with technology today. All right, so you can fix it. Okay, it likes you better. That's fine. That's totally fine. So that is a different case I'll get to later. But the typical timeline I have found to completely regrow the tissue, the bone, the fingernails, is about 3 months, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. And yeah, so this case, someone was working with a horse, and the horse bit their finger completely off.
Yeah.
So don't worry, if you want to work with horses later, you can regrow your finger. Just
We have
try
a
not
few
to
horse people and
Yeah.
that's one thing you should know about horses. They bite, they can kick you with their rear legs, and they can strike out at you with their front legs.
Yeah.
Or all of the above.
Yeah.
I read something about it taking the force of biting a carrot to break off your finger, and horses like carrots. So, fun fact. So this is that case with where the horse bit off the finger, and this was the exact timeline they used. They recommend using extracellular matrix 5 to 7 days after the injury has occurred, and you have to use extracellular matrix multiple times to get it to work. What's the word I'm looking for? As well as it can. So what this individual did was she had to go into the doctor once a day to put on the extracellular matrix and keep it covered and clean, and then it regrew within 3 months. And back to our marine friend that I talked about earlier in the last presentation, he had a lot of muscle loss, but within 6 weeks he was able to walk, he was doing things he didn't think was possible, and then within 6 months, that is when he had the 80 to 100% return of his function of the muscles, which is really impressive for how much he lost. And from further research I did, I found conflicting data between different sources about if you could put extracellular matrix on an amputated portion of
Stumps?
Yes. And if that would work. Some said yes, some said no. So I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to find out if that works or not, and how long you can wait after you put on, or after the injury before you have to put on extracellular matrix, and it will still work. Yeah.
Do you know, like, if that would happen, like someone has a stump, whatever, would you have to reopen it and then put the extracellular matrix on it, or just like put it on the stump?
I believe from what I've found,
I don't know how else to say it, okay?
from what I've found, I think it has to be reopened,
Yeah.
just so it has access, and then all the new
Tissue
Tissue.
regeneration cells.
can form.
I got
Matrix.
you. I got you.
These are good questions.
Alright. So I know you're all really interested in the cost. Also very hard information to find. This is the best I could do. So the lyophilized powder is $400 per 15 milligrams.
Oh my gosh, we could figure out that a pound, that'd be like gold.
Yes.
Or
It's-
more.
It is cheaper than other things. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll get to that point later, and then the gel, or that little sheet I showed you in the last presentation, is $176 for 10 pills. So it's also pricey when you think about the cost of surgery, the cost of rehabilitation, all of that. Maybe it weighs out, I'm not sure, which is why I have cheaper with a question mark, because from the sources I found, granted they're extremely biased sources because it's from the sites that
So-
supply the extracellular matrix, they're like, oh yeah, it's 100% cheaper. I don't know if you can trust that.
Is it all from pig bladder? Is that the main source?
That is the main source,
Okay.
pig bladder, yeah.
Is this something that is like FDA, have they done any of that to like, are there insurance companies that are helping people do this, or is that not even to that point yet?
It is to that point, I believe in 2009, possibly they got FDA approval.
And so insurance companies are picking it up, because I know like for a lot of medications, like if you have insurance, it could be $400, but if you have insurance, it could be $300.
Yeah.
So let's return to the horse, or the finger that got bit off by the horse. I don't think it was her horse, and there was some conflict with who was going to pay for the amputation or whatever. The insurance would only cover the amputation. They didn't want to cover the cost of extracellular matrix because it hadn't been as well researched at this point. So they're working on it, but I don't know if there's complete coverage on it
Yeah.
yet with insurance.
That's a good question though,
Yes.
because
So, now that you know a little bit about how it's being used now, this is where they're trying to get to in the future. So, they're trying to find some way to incorporate this into helping individuals that are suffering from Parkinson's disease, which I think is incredibly interesting. And then they're also trying to repair spinal damage injuries. There's a little bit of work going on with the central nervous system right now, but it's not as far as they want it to be yet. And then transplants, this is a pretty popular topic right now where they're working with organ donors. They're trying to get to the point where they can just completely regrow an organ. They don't need a donor. They would just need a sample of that tissue, and then they could regrow it on their own. And now back to my friend Dr. Badalek. He wants to make something called a biodome, which is that image down there. And what he's doing right now, that is the biodome, so he is making it now. What he's doing is he's working with mice, and he is amputating one of their digits, and putting on this little biodome, it sticks on, and this allows the researchers to control the environment within that, and they're trying to mock the environment that a baby would be in. So amniotic fluid, and they're using electrical currents to try and simulate the growth and seeing where that can go, because this is applying to the amputations that they're trying to hope to heal later, because they can control the environment, they can put what they need on, and they're hoping that will go somewhere, hopefully within the next 10 years. That'd be awesome. So does anyone have any questions?
Okay, yes, questions, here's one over
Yeah.
here.
I've got two of them.
All right.
When it came down to the eventually slide, when it was talking about potential, they were talking about central nervous system
Yeah.
repair. Do you think it might be a possibility with repair that paralysis patients, whether they be animal or human, they could regenerate central nervous system repair?
I think that's what they're trying to focus on, because with the spinal